Welcome to Top 10 History. Today we delve into every president of the United States. Join us as we discover some lesser-known facts about our presidents' past, such as duels, corruption, and even a secret society. Let's dive in and remember, challenge everything you think you know. Bite into this. George Washington, the first U.S. president, did not sport wooden teeth. That's right, contrary to popular belief, his dentures were actually made of ivory, lead, and even human teeth. Now there's a smile to remember. Switching gears, did you know that Washington, despite his monumental contributions to the country, was practically penniless when he left office? Shocking, but true. Our founding father, who led America to its independence, couldn't independently sustain his own financial freedom. So, the next time you see a dollar bill, remember the man on it had teeth of lead and a pocket of lint. History, my friends, is full of surprises. Keep digging, and you'll find more than just dirt. Till the next tidbit, keep feeding your curiosity. Today, we dive into the life of John Adams, the second president of the United States. Known for his intellect and integrity, Adams signed a law in 1800, effectively banning the international slave trade, a monumental step toward ending slavery. Now let's switch gears to his personal life. Adams shared a profound bond with his wife Abigail. Their letters, more than 1,000 in number, serve as a testament to their deep love and respect for each other. Adams often sought Abigail's advice on political matters, making their relationship not just marital, but a powerful political alliance. Should this have been allowed? Let me know in the comments. So there you have it, John Adams, a man of principle and a devoted husband. Tune in for more snippets of history in just 60 seconds. Keep learning, keep growing. Did you know Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, was a man of many tongues? He could read and write in 5 languages: English, French, Italian, Latin, and Greek. Now that's a presidential prowess. An intriguing twist of fate? Jefferson and his presidential predecessor John Adams both breathed their last on the same day, July 4, 1826, a symbolic passing on the nation's 50th Independence Day. And here's the cherry on top. When Jefferson assumed office, the nation's capital had just moved to Washington, D.C., making him the first president to serve there. Remember, challenge everything you think you know. Subscribe. James Madison stood at only 5 feet 4 inches. Despite his stature, Madison was a giant in terms of intellect and political savvy. This founding father, who served as our nation's 4th president, is often referred to as the father of the Constitution for his pivotal role in drafting and promoting the United States Constitution and the Bill of Rights. But don't let his scholarly disposition fool you. Madison was no pushover. In fact, he once engaged in a heated duel with a political rival named John Randolph. That's right. This pint-sized president wasn't afraid to stand his ground. So remember, greatness is not measured in height, but in deeds and determination. Until next time, this was your quick bite of history. Ever heard of James Monroe, the 5th U.S. president? Well, he's the brain behind the Monroe Doctrine, a policy that shaped America's foreign affairs. In 1823, Monroe declared that the Western Hemisphere was off-limits to European colonization. A bold move, right? But it worked. The U.S. became a protector of the New World, ensuring that democracy thrived. Now let's jump back to 1819. Monroe's administration negotiated with Spain and voila! Florida was purchased for a cool $5 million. Remember, challenge everything you think you know. Subscribe! Imagine being the son of a founding father. For John Quincy Adams, it was his reality. Born to John Adams, second president of the United States, he was destined for greatness. But did you know he didn't stop at the presidency? John Quincy Adams, 6th president of the United States, was a man of many hats. Among his notable achievements was his instrumental role in the Amistad case. In a landmark trial, he defended enslaved Africans who had revolted on the ship Amistad, leading to their freedom, and his dedication to public service didn't end after his presidency. Unusual, right? John Quincy Adams went back into politics, serving in the House of Representatives until his last breath. Truly, he was a man who lived and breathed his country's cause. John Quincy Adams, an example of relentless service, unyielding dedication, and timeless legacy. Immerse yourself in the fascinating tales of Andrew Jackson, a man of many firsts. Picture this: a bullet lodged in his chest, a mark of honor from one of his many duels. Yet he never wavered, standing tall, embodying the true spirit of a warrior. Shifting gears, we delve into a darker chapter. Under his leadership, the infamous Trail of Tears unfolded, a sorrowful journey that forever marked American history. A leader, yes, but not without controversy. And then, a shocking twist: the first president to ever survive an assassination attempt. An unexpected plot twist in an already dramatic life, wouldn't you say? Every hero has his scars, every leader his trials. Born under British rule in 1773, William Henry Harrison's life was destined for distinction. His path led him to the Whig Party, an institution championing economic protectionism. However, it was in the presidency where Harrison's story took a dramatic turn. Inaugurated as the 9th President of the United States, he served for the shortest time, a brief 32 days. His tenure, cut short by pneumonia, was the briefest in American history. Despite the brevity of his presidency, Harrison's impact on American history remains undeniable. This is the paradox of William Henry Harrison, a life of distinction, a presidency of brevity. John Tyler, initially the vice president, quickly found himself seated in the Oval Office. Why? He was the first vice president to ascend to the presidency due to the death of his predecessor. Tyler also holds the dubious honor of being the first president to face impeachment proceedings. The political climate was tumultuous, to say the least. To add insult to injury, his own party, the Whigs, gave him the boot during his presidency. Yes, you heard it right. Kicked out by his own team. Remember, challenge everything you think you know. Subscribe. Imagine a president who does exactly what they promise. Meet James Polk, the 11th President of the United States. This man was unique in that he fulfilled all 4 of his campaign promises, a first in American history. From resolving the Oregon Territory dispute to lowering tariffs, acquiring California, and creating an independent treasury, Polk was a man of his word. He was a manifest destiny enthusiast, believing in the expansion of the United States across the continent. But here's a twist. Just 3 months after leaving office, Polk tragically passed away. His presidency may have been brief, but his impact was lasting. Remember, sometimes, less is more. James Polk, an example of fulfilled promises and undying dedication. A man who'd never dabbled in politics becomes President of the United States. This isn't fiction, it's the story of Zachary Taylor. A military man at heart, Taylor's service record was impressive. He'd seen action in the War of 1812, Black Hawk War, and the Mexican-American War. This soldier-turned-statesman had a knack for leadership, no doubt. But here's where it gets interesting. Taylor had a vision for California. He wanted it to be a free state. His push for this change played a significant role in the Compromise of 1850, shaping the nation's history. And there you have it, a quick glimpse into the life of Zachary Taylor, a military hero turned president who left his mark on America. Poverty to presidency, a tale that resonates with the American dream. Meet Millard Fillmore. Born in a log cabin, Fillmore's journey was far from easy. Yet his resilience led him to the highest office in the land. As president, he signed the Compromise of 1850, a pivotal moment in the nation's history. Not only did it ease sectional crisis, but it also shaped the future of the United States. Beyond the borders, Fillmore's diplomacy was instrumental in opening up Japan to the West. This move significantly influenced international politics and trade, but Fillmore wasn't a man to rest on laurels. After his presidency, he established his own political party, the Know Nothing Party. A man of military background, Franklin Pierce, our 14th U.S. president, held the rank of a brigadier general. Born in the early 19th century, his military prowess was truly noteworthy. However, Pierce's legacy isn't just about military exploits. He signed a controversial piece of legislation, the Kansas-Nebraska Act. This act sadly split the nation and laid the groundwork for the Civil War. It's a chilling reminder of how political decisions can have long-lasting impacts. A darker side of Pierce's life, often overlooked, is his struggle with alcoholism. It's believed that this battle eventually led to his demise. James Buchanan, 15th President of the United States, delivering his inaugural address in 1857. Little did he know his words would stoke the fires of an impending civil war, instead of extinguishing them. Yes, you heard right. His well-intended speech failed to unite a divided nation on the brink of conflict. Buchanan remains the only U.S. president who spent his entire term as a bachelor. Quite the anomaly in the history of American politics, don't you think? And then there was the Dred Scott decision, a landmark court ruling that shook his presidency. It was a tumultuous time indeed. Ever wondered why Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, was almost always seen with a towering top hat and a bushy beard? Here's why. His top hat was more than a fashion statement, it was a tool. He used it to store important documents and notes, turning it into a mobile office of sorts. Now, about the beard. A little girl named Grace Bedell wrote a letter to Lincoln suggesting he grow a beard to improve his appearance. He took her advice to heart, and the rest is history. So, next time you see an image of Lincoln, remember, there's always more than meets the eye. Consider, what could your style choices be saying about you?
The year is 1865, the American Civil War has just ended, and President Lincoln is assassinated. Who steps in? None other than Vice President Andrew Johnson, making history as the first vice president to take the helm after a presidential assassination. But his unprecedented path to power doesn't end there. Johnson becomes the first U.S. president to be impeached, a whirlwind of controversy and political turmoil. And his nickname? The Veto President. Why? Because he vetoed a whopping 20 bills during his time in office. Johnson's legacy is one of firsts fraught with controversy and division. A fascinating character in the tapestry of American history.
Ulysses S. Grant, 18th President of the United States, Civil War general, and unsung civil rights hero. His presidency, spanning the tumultuous years of Reconstruction, was marked by a relentless pursuit of equality. This is a man who, against the backdrop of a divided nation, fought to protect the rights of newly freed African Americans. Yet, the story doesn't end there. Grant's post-presidential life was fraught with financial hardship. A series of poor investments left him nearly destitute, a stark contrast to the power and influence he once held. In the end, Grant's legacy is one of resilience, in both war and peace, a testament to his unwavering commitment to justice. Remember Ulysses S. Grant, not just as a military man or a president, but as a champion of civil rights. Rutherford B. Hayes, the 19th President of the United States, a man of many firsts and controversies. He was the first president to use a telephone, a device that has evolved into the smartphones we can't seem to live without today. But his journey to the White House wasn't a smooth sail. His election in 1876 was clouded with controversy, marked by contested electoral votes and political maneuvering. But did you know? Before his political career, Hayes was a brave soldier, wounded in the Civil War, a testament to his toughness and resilience. Subscribe. Step back in time. It's the late 19th century. Meet James Garfield, the 20th U.S. president. Not just a politician, but a minister and educator, Garfield was a man of many talents. He served with distinction during the Civil War, rising from lieutenant colonel to major general. But it was in the political arena where his star shone brightest. Elected in 1880, he held office for a mere 200 days before tragedy struck. An assassin's bullet cut short his promising term. A leader, a scholar, a soldier, and a man of faith, Garfield's legacy is a testament to the resilience and diversity of the American spirit. Remember, history is not just about dates and facts. It's about the people who shaped our world. James Garfield, a man of many hats, forever etched in our collective memory. In the blink of an eye, Chester Arthur went from vice president to president. It was September 20, 1881. President James Garfield was assassinated, thrusting Arthur into the top job. But he wasn't in the best of health. He battled Bright's disease, a chronic kidney ailment, throughout his term. Despite his health, he made impactful decisions. Notably, he signed the Chinese Exclusion Act in 1882, suspending Chinese immigration for a decade. It's a controversial act, seen by many as a dark moment in American history. Yet Arthur also championed African American rights, appointing several to federal positions. Chester Arthur, a man of contradictions, navigating health struggles while shaping a nation. Grover Cleveland, a name etched in history. But did you know he's the only American president to marry in the White House? In 1886, Cleveland, then 49, wed Frances Folsom, his ward whom he'd helped raise since she was 11. A unique love story indeed. Cleveland's presidency was more than personal milestones. His political prowess was equally intriguing. He signed the Dawes Act of 1887, a controversial law that aimed to assimilate Native Americans into mainstream society. But there's more. During the Pullman strike in 1894, Cleveland intervened to end the labor dispute. His decision? He sent federal troops asserting the government's power to regulate commerce. Benjamin Harrison, the 23rd President of the United States. Harrison was a brigadier general during the Civil War, leading troops with valor. Post-war, he swapped the battlefield for the courtroom, becoming an advocate for copyright law. He fought to protect authors and artists, establishing legal grounds for their work. But Harrison wasn't just about law and order. He was a friend of the forests too. As president, he championed conservation, setting aside over 13 million acres of land as national forest reserves. Benjamin Harrison, a military leader, a legal defender, and a conservator of nature. Grover Cleveland, the only U.S. president to pull off a sequel, non-consecutively, that is. Elected in 1884, ousted in 1888, but back in the saddle by 1892. Talk about a comeback story. Now Cleveland wasn't just juggling terms. He was busy wrestling economic turmoil. Remember the Sherman Silver Purchase Act? That's right, Cleveland played the ace card and repealed it, helping to stabilize the economy. But wait, there's more. Our man Grover was also playing chess on the international stage, navigating tensions with Great Britain like a pro. From the Bering Sea dispute to the Venezuela crisis, he was the diplomat America needed. William McKinley, a name carved deeply into the annals of history. Born in the mid-19th century, he served valiantly in the Union Army during the Civil War. Yet, his military service was only a preface to his political life. As president, McKinley stood firmly in support of the gold standard, trusting in its potency to create economic stability. His presidency, however, was not solely about economic reforms. A controversial decision under his leadership was America's entry into the Spanish-American War, a conflict that many viewed as unnecessary. However, the aftermath of this war brought about a significant shift in global power dynamics, with America gaining control over three countries: Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines. As his second term was beginning to take form, a tragic incident occurred. McKinley was assassinated, his life abruptly ended, but his legacy remains. Teddy Roosevelt, a name known by many, but how well do we truly know him? To start with, Roosevelt rose to the presidency in quite an unexpected way. After the assassination of President McKinley, Roosevelt, as vice president, was thrust into the role. But Roosevelt was more than just an accidental president. He was a man of action, a leader who ended the Russo-Japanese War, earning worldwide praise and even a Nobel Peace Prize. And let's not forget his adventurous spirit. Roosevelt was part of the infamous Rough Riders, a volunteer cavalry regiment that saw action in the Spanish-American War. Meet William Howard Taft. Not just any old president, Taft was the first sitting commander-in-chief to throw the ceremonial first pitch at a baseball game. Talk about starting a trend, but that's not all. He's also the only person in history to have served as both President and Chief Justice of the United States. Taft held the presidency from 1909 to 1913, and then rocked the judicial robe from 1921 to 1930. But he always considered being Chief Justice his true calling. And let's not forget, tipping the scales at over 300 pounds, Taft was the heaviest U.S. president. His weight was so legendary he had a custom-made extra-large bathtub installed in the White House. Who's the only U.S. president to hold a Ph.D.? Drumroll, please. It's Woodrow Wilson. This intellectual powerhouse led the nation through the tumultuous times of World War I. But did you know he suffered a stroke while in office? That's right, but it didn't stop him. Wilson was a key player in crafting the Treaty of Versailles, aiming to ensure lasting peace. But here's a twist. He didn't sign it. Wilson's legacy is a testament to resilience and intellect. So the next time you think of presidents, remember the scholar who guided the ship in stormy waters. Woodrow Wilson, a name to remember. Sworn into office in 1921, Harding's administration was marred by the infamous Teapot Dome scandal. His Interior Secretary leased Navy petroleum reserves without competitive bidding, a stark contrast to Harding's own integrity. However, Harding's presidency wasn't just scandal-ridden. He fought tirelessly for World War I veterans, signing the Fordney-McCumber Tariff Act, providing financial aid to our heroes. But did you know Harding never finished his term? He died in office in 1923, just 2 years into his presidency. A man of contradictions, Warren Harding, a story of scandal and valor, a tale worth remembering. The 30th President of the United States, Calvin Coolidge, was not your average head of state. In the roaring 20s, this man made history in more ways than one. First off, Coolidge signed the Indian Citizenship Act, a monumental step, granting full U.S. citizenship to America's indigenous peoples. At the same time, he navigated the complex waters of immigration, signing the Immigration Act of 1924, a law that reshaped America's demographic landscape. And for a dash of the unexpected, Coolidge had a pet raccoon. Yes, you heard right, a raccoon named Rebecca, a unique companion in the White House. Finally, Coolidge was the first president to take to the airwaves, using radio to connect with the American people, a real pioneer in presidential communication. An orphan boy from Iowa, rising to become the 31st President of the United States. This is the story of Herbert Hoover. Against all odds, he climbed the political ladder. But his tenure at the top was marked by the Great Depression, a financial calamity of epic proportions. Many pointed fingers at Hoover, blaming him for the economic downturn, yet he did not let defeat define him. After a failed re-election, Hoover stayed in politics, even lending a helping hand to President Truman. From orphan to president, scapegoat to statesman, Hoover's journey is a tale of resilience. Franklin D. Roosevelt, a titan of American history. For an unprecedented 4 terms, he steered the nation through stormy seas. From the depths of the Great Depression, his New Deal policies brought relief, recovery, and reform. His leadership, both bold and innovative, saw the United States rise from economic despair to a beacon of hope and prosperity. Yet, his journey was not without personal struggle. Paralyzed from the waist down due to polio, FDR demonstrated resilience in the face of adversity. His disability was but a footnote in a life devoted to public service, and in a twist of fate, he died in office, at the helm of the nation he had guided for over a decade. The tale of FDR, America's longest-serving president, is truly a testament to the power of determination and visionary leadership. Remember, in the words of Roosevelt himself, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Did you know the S in his name stands for nothing? That's right, just an S. Truman, the 33rd President of the United States, made a decision of monumental proportions. He authorized the dropping of the atomic bomb, ending World War II. But there's more to Truman than that. Serving in the military during World War I, he saw action on the front lines. Then, as president, he took on the spread of communism head-on. His solution? The Truman Doctrine, a policy pledging to aid nations threatened by Soviet expansion. A man of action, a man of decisions, Truman left an indelible mark on history. Dwight Eisenhower, a man of many firsts and a true American patriot. A 5-star general, Eisenhower commanded the Allied forces during World War II, leading us to victory against tyranny. But his service didn't stop there. In 1953, he took the oath as the 34th president, becoming the first commander-in-chief to serve under term limits. During his presidency, Eisenhower didn't shy away from making tough decisions. He authorized the creation of the Central Intelligence Agency, a crucial move in the Cold War era. And let's not forget his contribution to civil rights. He signed the Civil Rights Act of 1957, marking a significant stride towards equality. January 1961. A young man steps into the highest office in the land. His name? John F. Kennedy. A decorated World War II naval officer, Kennedy's charisma and vision would shape the nation. He'd challenge America to reach for the moon, igniting the space race and pushing humanity's boundaries further than ever before. But JFK wasn't just about reaching the stars. Back on Earth, he established the Peace Corps, extending a helping hand to developing countries worldwide. Yet, his time in office was tragically cut short, assassinated in 1963. His legacy, however, endures. In the stars, in the Peace Corps, in the courage to dream big. John F. Kennedy, a leader who truly reached for the moon. Thrust into the presidency after JFK's assassination, Lyndon Johnson acted swiftly. He passed the pivotal Civil Rights Act, but his reign also ushered the Vietnam, a divisive conflict. While Johnson's presidency is often overshadowed by the Vietnam War, it's important to remember another war he waged, the war on poverty. In his first State of the Union address, Johnson declared an unconditional war on poverty, a notable promise that would shape his domestic policy. His administration introduced measures aimed at wiping out poverty and enhancing living conditions for all. This involved the Economic Opportunity Act of 1964, creating programs like Head Start and Job Corps. These initiatives aimed to tackle poverty at its root, providing education and job training. It's a part of Johnson's legacy that continues to resonate today. Richard Nixon, the 37th President of the United States. A man of many firsts, Nixon is renowned for his diplomatic prowess, opening the doors to China in the early 70s. A breakthrough indeed for international diplomacy, yet his presidency was not without controversy. The Watergate scandal, a political saga that shook the nation, still echoes in history. A break-in at the Democratic National Committee headquarters, a cover-up, and a trail of damning evidence led to an unprecedented event in American history, the first and only presidential resignation. But let's not forget Nixon's environmental efforts. He established the Environmental Protection Agency, a vital organization safeguarding our natural world. A legacy, complex and multifaceted, that's Richard Nixon for you. Imagine being the only person to serve as both Vice President and President of the United States without ever being elected to either position. That's the unique story of Gerald Ford. Born as Leslie Lynch King Jr., his name was later changed after his mother's remarriage. Suddenly, in the midst of the Watergate scandal, Ford found himself thrust into the vice presidency, only to ascend to the presidency months later when Nixon resigned. A whirlwind of events, to say the least. During his time in office, Ford survived not one but two assassination attempts. Remarkable, isn't it? And yet he never wavered in his commitment to the nation. Guiding America through the end of the Vietnam War, Ford left an indelible mark on U.S. history. Gerald Ford, a president who was never elected, but will never be forgotten. Jimmy Carter, the 39th President of the United States. In a brave move, he granted amnesty to draft dodgers, a decision that stirred controversy, yet demonstrated his commitment to reconciliation. But Carter's vision extended beyond immediate issues. He created the Department of Education, a testament to his belief in the power of knowledge to transform lives and societies. Not one to shy away from international challenges, Carter returned the Panama Canal rights to Panama, a bold step in respect of sovereignty and international relations. His diplomatic acumen shone brightest during the Camp David Accords. Carter successfully brokered a historic peace deal between Israel and Egypt, a pivotal moment in Middle East history. Ronald Reagan, the 40th U.S. president, was a Hollywood celebrity before stepping into the Oval Office. Starring in over 50 films, he surely knew how to captivate an audience. His presidency was not without drama. In 1981, the Economic Recovery Tax Act was passed. This major tax cut aimed to stimulate economic growth, but it was his words, not just his policies, that left a mark. Remember the speech in Berlin? Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. A bold challenge that echoes through history. And let's not forget, Reagan survived an assassination attempt just 69 days into his presidency. From the silver screen to global politics, Reagan's journey was nothing short of extraordinary. George Herbert Walker Bush, a man of many facets, a Yale graduate and member of the intriguing Skull and Bones Society. His journey from academia to politics was marked by significant milestones. In the midst of the Gulf War, he stood firm, leading our nation with resilience. His presidency wasn't without controversy though. Remember his famous "read my lips, no new taxes" pledge? Well, that took a U-turn with an unexpected tax hike. But let's not forget his commendable work for the differently abled community. The Americans with Disabilities Act? Yes, that was signed into law under his watch. A law that continues to promote inclusivity and equality today. Bill Clinton, 42nd President of the United States. Known for his charisma and political acumen, Clinton's presidency was marked with significant achievements and controversies. In 1993, he signed the North American Free Trade Agreement, also known as NAFTA, into law. This landmark legislation aimed to promote free trade and economic cooperation among the US, Canada, and Mexico. Yet, Clinton's presidency was also marred by scandal, leading to his impeachment in 1998. Despite this, he managed to complete his term and left office with high approval ratings. Post-presidency, Clinton has been recognized for his philanthropic efforts, particularly through the Clinton Foundation. His dedication to public service earned him the Presidential Medal of Freedom, bestowed by Barack Obama in 2013. Crisis, controversy, education reform, and baseball all are part of George W. Bush's unique legacy. As the 43rd president, he led America during the unforgettable tragedy of September 11th, a moment that reshaped the world. His journey to the Oval Office was a nail-biter, with the presidency hanging in the balance for weeks thanks to a historic recount in Florida. Once in office, his No Child Left Behind Act aimed to level the educational playing field, sparking intense debate. But did you know before politics he co-owned the Texas Rangers? That's right, the love of America's pastime was a big part of his life. George W. Bush, a president whose story is as diverse as America itself. Barack Obama, a name synonymous with change, steps into the spotlight. He's not just another president, he's the first black president of the United States. A bold statement of progress and a beacon of hope for many. Now imagine a nation grappling with healthcare challenges. Enter the Affordable Care Act, signed into law by none other than Obama himself. A move that revolutionized healthcare, making it accessible for millions. Fast forward to the pursuit of justice. The elusive Osama bin Laden, a name that sent chills down the spine, finally met his end. Under whose watch? You guessed it, Obama's. And let's not forget the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA, a program initiated by Obama, offering a glimmer of security to countless young immigrants. A billionaire stepping onto the political stage for the very first time. He's neither a seasoned politician nor a military veteran. Meet Donald Trump, the 45th President of the United States. A unique figure in the presidential history, the only one to hold office without a political or military background. An unconventional leader, Trump made headlines in history. He established the Space Force, pushing the boundaries of space exploration and military strategy. Yet, he also faced unprecedented challenges. He was the only president to be impeached twice. But despite the turbulence, he remained a symbol of wealth, being the first billionaire president. A figure of controversy, a symbol of change. That's Donald Trump leaving an indelible mark on the pages of American history. It's Joe Biden, our 46th president. Did you know he was also the 47th vice president under Barack Obama? That's right. With a political career spanning over half a century, Biden has seen it all. Remember the American Rescue Plan? That was him, injecting nearly $2 trillion into the economy to combat the COVID-19 crisis. But it's not all roses. Biden's leadership saw the controversial withdrawal of U.S. troops from Afghanistan, a move that sparked global debate. Yet he stands firm, a testament to his belief in ending America's longest war.